It has different categories. So let's pick animal. And then you have this generate button. And we have, what do you call a bear with no teeth? A gummy bear. Amazing, Claude. It's time for another tutorial. So Anthropic just dropped their latest AI model, Claude 3.5 Sonnet. And word on the street is Sam Altman is sweating more than Gordon Ramsay on Hot Ones.
Fuck, it's outside.
On top of that, they released a new feature that will transform how you collaborate with AI forever. So if you want to take advantage of this spicy AI update, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and let's take a deep dive. Okay, so quick high-level overview. What are we covering today? Number one, context. I just like to get everybody on the same page. Number two, we're going to cover model updates, a quick rundown of everything that's changed and what that all means. Then we're going to go into the brand new artifacts feature, super exciting, and find out what you're going to be able to do with that. Number four, we're going to go into an actual use case that I explored with a demo. And then finally, we're going to do a recap. Now, note for you expert users, I do have chapters on this, so feel free to skip ahead. So some context. What is Claude? Claude is a series of AI chatbots developed by Anthropic and available in 3 sizes to cater to different needs. So this chart over here is the original chart that they released to show the different relationships between the different models, but they recently broke that with their latest update on Sonnet. So what is Sonnet? Well, Sonnet is the medium-sized model, along with Haiku being the smallest one and Opus being the largest one. So why are there 3 sizes? And what's the significance of Sonnet being the medium-sized one? Well, large language model makers typically make 3 different size models to cover different use cases and trade-offs, as you'll see here in this chart. To simplify things, let's use an example from Pokemon. Like Pokemon, there's 3 different sizes of the same creature. So you have Charmander, the small one, you have Charmeleon, the middle one, and Charizard, the big one. And each one of these are capable on their own, but each size is better suited to different kinds of tasks and challenges. For example, you wouldn't send the little grunt to defeat the largest monster, and you wouldn't want to waste your biggest fighter on a little pipsqueak. That wouldn't be wise use of resources, right? So here's why that's a big deal. Sonnet was only released and it's just the middle model. And already the middle model is 2 times faster and 5 times cheaper than Opus, the previous best model. It's also more powerful than the previous best model. But Anthropic said they're on schedule to release updates to Haiku and Opus as well later this year. So you can only imagine how crazy Opus will be. We covered how Sonnet is 2 times faster, 5 times cheaper, and much more powerful than the previous Opus model. Well, it also blows away the competition, including OpenAI's ChatGPT 4o. And how do we know that? By the benchmark test scores, as you'll see here. Now, what's the deal with these tests? I'll be covering this in a future video, so don't forget to subscribe to be notified. So let's do a quick rundown of the updates and what you could expect from this new model. Sonnet has improved performance, as we've covered, 2 times faster than the previous smartest, biggest model, Opus. It has enhanced reasoning, so it's better at the benchmarks for graduate level reasoning and undergraduate level knowledge. It has advanced coding capabilities, so it's much better at coding, solving 64% of problems in the internal evaluations on the benchmark. It has improved vision capabilities, so it's better at interpreting visual data like charts and graphs, and also transcribing text from imperfect images, so if they're a little bit blurry, it could do a better job of that. It also has increased accessibility. Previously, the smartest model was subscribers only, and now you're going to be able to use Sonnet, the middle model, but the best model now, for free. And because it's cheaper to run, they've increased the usage limits for the paid accounts. So yes, we've covered that it's 5 times cheaper to run, and that's why they're able to open it up to more people and to give higher limits to the paid users. And finally, they have a new artifacts feature, which allows users to view, edit, it and build upon Claude's generated content in real time. And that's what we're going to do a deep dive on today. So onto the Showsstopper artifacts. We know that Sonnet is faster, cheaper, and the most powerful of all the chatbots, but that's not even the coolest feature yet. The coolest feature is the new artifacts feature. And what are artifacts? Well, artifacts is both the things that you create with AI and a new way to interact and collaborate with the AI on those things that you create. Okay, so how does this work exactly? So this is a screenshot of a chat I had with Claude, and on the right you'll see a panel called chat controls, and in the artifacts section you'll see different pieces of content that we collaborated on. And then you'll even notice that within each of these pieces of content there are sometimes multiple versions of each piece. So that's something to take note of as we go on. Okay, so now in this screenshot it's showing what collaborating on code looks like in Claude. And in the top right, you'll see there is the code and preview toggle. And in this screenshot, I think it's the most exciting one. Here you're previewing code that you worked on with Claude in the chat environment. So I think it's just so cool to preview code in the chat. And this is pretty much what Devin promised, which was a whole product that was touted as the first AI software developer. But more on that in a different video. If you're interested in learning more about Devin, I'll leave a link in the description below. So why is this a big deal and how does it differ from the current user experience? Well, previously when you're collaborating with AI, you would do it inline in the chat. So this brings up a few problems. Number one, it's difficult to view and modify those collaborative creations. So you'd have to go and scroll through the chat looking for and reviewing the things you've talked about and created with the chatbot. Next is it's difficult to keep track of different iterations of those creations. Next, it's difficult to communicate with the AI chatbot when referring to different versions of your creations. So maybe you like this part of something way back in the chat, but you want to keep this other part in a lower part of the chat. It's just a real headache to communicate about different versions of what you've created. Next, it's difficult to keep track and iterate on multiple different distinct pieces of creation. Another thing is it's difficult to find and export, for example, copy to clipboard or download those creations you've made. You have to scroll back. Sometimes your chat is super long and you're going to have to do a lot of searching to find what you're looking for. And also, you couldn't preview your functioning code. You'd have to bring that code into some other environment and preview it there. So yeah, this is kind of like getting Devin for free. So the artifacts feature addresses all of these problems, making it just such a much more pleasant and productive experience. Now, what kinds of artifact content can you make? Well, here's a rundown of a few things. Number one is different documents. You could do markdown or plain text documents. You could have song lyrics. You could have code snippets as we've seen. You could create web pages, simple HTML pages. You could create SVG graphics. You could create diagrams and flowcharts, and you could create interactive React components. So how do you access this feature? Well, the great news is it's currently available for free and paid accounts. The only difference is you'll hit limits sooner on the free accounts. Now, how do you enable the artifacts feature? So once you've logged into your account, you'll see a banner inviting you to try the feature. And if you don't see that, go up to your avatar and hit feature preview. From there, you're going to see a feature preview window with the artifacts option, and you'll see a toggle. So you just flip on that toggle, and there, now you have the new artifacts feature enabled. Okay, so now on to the fun part. We're going to go into a demo of the artifacts feature. And in this example, I built a joke generator with Claude. It's very simple, but it was really fun. And I hope it demonstrates some of the things that you could build with this feature. Okay, so now let's get into a demo of the artifacts feature. So this is a chat I had with Claude. To find the artifacts, you're going to see as you're chatting this little bubble that pops up within the chat, and clicking on that opens up the artifact. And so you'll see that pop up whenever you create things in the chat. Now, how do you see all of the things that you have created? You'll see I created a bunch of things in this chat, and what we're building is a random joke generator. So to see the other items, you just hit this back button if you have the artifacts panel open already, and that will reveal the different artifacts that you've created. If you don't see that, you just hit this chat controls button in the top right, and now you see all of the different things you've created. Okay, so this is my first chat that I had with Claude Sonnet using the artifacts feature. And as you'll see, I went through a bunch of iterations, but we'll focus on the top few first. So you could see it was really simple here. I asked Claude, can you help me make a joke generator? And right off the bat, it created a sample code for this generator. And this is one of the artifacts. You could tell it's an artifact by this little box that appears within your chat. And when you click on it, it opens up this side panel, the artifacts panel, but now they've called it the chat controls panel. And to see all the different artifacts that you've made, if this panel is open, you could just hit the back button, and there you have all of the artifacts that you've created in this chat. If you don't see that, you could hit the top right button, chat controls, and that will show this panel and all the artifacts that you created in this chat. Let's take a closer look at one of the more developed versions of the artifacts that I built with Claude. So this is the joke generator that I like the most that I built with Claude. You could see here you have the code, and when you hit this left toggle, you could see the preview. And in this joke generator, it has different categories. So let's pick animal, and then you have this generate button. And we have, what do you call a bear with no teeth? A gummy bear. Amazing, Claude. And so I also asked to have a rating system. And so you could rate it and it shows what your rating is. It also remembers within this session the rating. And I also asked to have a bookmark feature so you could bookmark your favorite jokes. So let's bookmark that, and you could see it appears here already in the bookmark jokes section. And let's generate another one. Oh, there we go. So why don't ants get sick? Because they have antibodies. Get it? So yeah, you could rate that. Let's add that to the bookmark jokes. Let's go to another category and generate joke. So yeah, this is pretty awesome. I've tried generating code in other chatbots, but it was very cumbersome to put into another environment and run it there. But I am not a savvy coder by all means. Very novice, very beginner. But I really love how you could run the code, see it functioning right within this environment. This makes me feel way more confident to try to build something more complex and actually ship it. So that would probably be one of my future projects, is to try to ship something into the App Store building with Claude in this environment. I really like that you could iterate on this. Oh yeah, actually, let's look at previous versions. So let's go to the beginning. Oh yeah, this is great. I should have started here. So this is how the generator started. So you hit this and it just cycles through some jokes every time you press a button. And then I started asking to add features. So yeah, different categories and adding a rating system, but it wouldn't remember. So I had to ask it to remember. And I believe this is where it started to remember. So yeah, that's it remembering that I rated it for previously. So let's go further, and then I asked to make it responsive and also to have a bookmark, and then I also asked to fix this layout issue, which it did in the last version. So yeah, I think this is just so cool, and it really makes creating things with Claude much easier. Now I'd like to show you some of the craziest things I've seen built with this artifacts feature from the community. So I love this one. Somebody built a lander game spaceship lander game within the artifacts panel, and it has like crazy controls and physics. Let's watch it land. That was pretty cool, and it has a score and everything. Somebody built Tetris in the artifacts panel, and look at that color scheme, looks awesome too. And finally, my favorite, somebody built a zombie shooter in the Doom style, all inside of the preview window in the artifacts panel. They even have a bird's eye view map, and yeah, it is insane. A full out game built within the artifacts panel. Okay, so let's recap. The new Sonnet model is insane. It's the fastest, cheapest, most powerful chatbot available today. And on top of that, it's free for everyone to try. Finally, they released a new artifacts feature which will transform how we collaborate with AI forever. I hope you found this update as spicy as Sam Altman probably finds it, and I hope it inspires you to create more cool things with AI. If you do create something cool, don't forget to share it in the comments. And of course, don't forget to hit like, hit subscribe, and let's all thrive in this new AI world. Until next time, keep optimizing.
Nomaditsu.